I'm Debbie Thompson, coach and trainer from Groupability, where we help leaders at all levels develop outstanding people management skills through our training and coaching programs. Now I'm wondering, when is the last time your emotions got the better of you at work? I remember for myself being in a meeting with a senior manager who consistently cut me off. It would happen in every meeting we were in, and I increasingly dreaded attending meetings with him. In one particular meeting, after he'd cut me off again, I spent the rest of the meeting intently looking at the agenda, because if I made eye contact with the rest of the attendees, they would have seen the tears welling up in my eyes, and I didn't want anyone to know how hurt I felt. Very often when I'm coaching or mentoring women in leadership positions, one of their objectives for our work together is to learn to manage their emotions at work. But when they say manage, what they really mean is hide. Their biggest fear is often that they'll burst into tears and look soft to their boss or their colleagues, and all the hard work they've put into their careers will go down the drain. And so they curb their feelings when perhaps what they should be doing is listening to them. And that's what was happening with me. Now please hear this. I'm not referring here to crying as a result of depression or burnout or workplace bullying. Those are different things. I'm talking about the situations when you tear up and later you chide yourself for crying in front of your colleagues because you tell yourself you should have been able to handle the situation. Now, author Anne Kramer and her colleague Mark Truss, in a 2009 survey of 701 people, found that 41% of women had cried at work in the previous year. So if you have as well, you're not alone. And whether you hide away in a washroom stall or whether it happens in front of other people, it can be really embarrassing for you, most definitely. But it's also a potentially compelling message that you really need to pay attention to. For so many women in leadership positions, tears at work are not an indication of sadness. They're not a sign of weakness or unfitness for a leadership position either. They don't mean you can't do your job, and they don't mean you need to turn off your feelings at work to stay in control. For many women, workplace tears are a sign of frustration and anger. Think about it. You don't want to seem weak, so you don't want to cry, but it would be even worse in the eyes of many women to get really angry at work and to say what you really think about things. And that tension between feeling angry and frustrated, but not knowing how to express it, can often end in tears. If that rings true for you, and it will for many women, then take some time to figure out what it is that you're angry and frustrated about. What you'll likely discover is that there are issues you haven't dealt with for fear of looking bossy or mean. For me, I wasn't standing up for myself in that meeting, and I felt like I had no communication strategies to deal with the senior manager who consistently cut me off. I felt helpless, and in my mind, each time he cut me off and I didn't have a way to handle it, I would be doubting my own leadership abilities. When I finally swallowed my pride and met one-on-one with this senior manager to address the problem with him face-to-face, he was absolutely shocked, but in a good way. He hadn't realized that he was cutting me off. He just wasn't aware of it. He was so passionate about his work, and so when he had an idea, he would speak it. And he apologized profusely to me and told me he had every respect for my work and that it wouldn't happen again. And he was true to his word. Future meetings with this senior manager, from that moment on, were very, very different. He treated me with respect and even gave everyone in the room permission to let him know if he was cutting anyone off, because he said it was a bad habit and he wanted to fix it. Consider if you find the tears welling up at work for you, if there's an issue that you need to address. Perhaps like me, you've got an issue with a specific person, whether it's something you deal with yourself or if you need to raise it with your boss. Perhaps you're unclear on the outcome for a particular project you've been assigned, and your frustration can be managed by meeting with key stakeholders and getting more clarity. And if the problem is stress-related or bullying, escalate it in accordance with the policies of your organization and seek assistance. Let your tears not mean weakness. Let them mean it's time to take action. I'm Debbie Thompson from Groupability. Take best care.